Well, welcome to tonight's show. You're with Tom, Brian and Steve, and this is NRL from the Sidelines. And as we do it every time this week, we're going to talk about the round of NRL that's just been played, which is round 3 of the semis. Yeah, you got
two games.
Two games.
Is this going to be our penultimate game?
This is
show?
our penultimate
show.
Yes.
So we're not having shows for the Origins.
And my wife says...
No, I don't know.
My wife says, thank goodness.
I think they all do. You know, there might have been some watchers who were saying the same thing, but how are we this weekend? Today?
Tyler just had a nap.
Oh,
Tom's
old hasn't had a nap. I watched Bathurst today.
So did I. What a good... Did you watch Bathurst?
That's why I had a nap. I know. I can't get into that.
Seriously, what is wrong with you?
Yeah, I've got a brain. Yeah.
An old one, obviously.
Well, you know when you're you're about to have a week off and all the tide comes out. Well, that's what I'm feeling today. So, you know.
Yeah. So, what do you think of Bathurst? There's nothing to talk about in football.
Excuse me, this isn't a football.
No, there's absolutely nothing to talk about in football.
I must admit, I'm not a strictly V8 fan, Steve, and so I watch for the crashes and the accidents and it was cars going around a circuit for a lot of time.
It was actually, yes, it was.
But the right team won, so it's all okay.
Although at the end of it, the last 10 laps was interesting.
All right, that's enough. Move on. It's a football show. It's all about football.
Well, no.
You do it when you wear your stupid Packers jersey and start talking
but that's
about the
football,
NFL.
Mate.
Well, hang on. Let's rephrase
the ball.
You're with Tom, Brian and Steve, and this is V8s from the sideline. So, does that make you feel better? We can do V8s from the sideline.
Then I'm going. I have nothing to contribute.
All right, okay, let's talk about the NRL. Gentlemen, there's been some interesting games this weekend.
There
We
has.
are down to 2 for the grand final next week, which we'll talk about very soon.
Mm-hmm.
But let's have a chat about the 2 games that have just been played and won and or lost, depending on whose team you were following.
Yes.
Indeed.
So on Friday night, we had the Storm 30 beat Raiders 10. Honestly, the way the Storm started this game, its score could have been anything.
Yeah,
But it wasn't.
18 points in the first 10 minutes. Yeah.
Well, it was 24-0 after 24 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sorry for those Raiders fans out there. I actually sent you guys a text message that says, "Well, this is game over," and it's 24 minutes in.
Yeah.
Yes, I know.
Oh, that was harsh.
Yeah.
Well,
your message was.
You know what you're going to get from the Storm after that? They're just going to defend their life for their life. I mean, I still held some hope for the Raiders when they got a try, 29th minute. I thought, well, you know, they're sort of within reach, but they're going to have to play darn good in the second half.
But I don't think. I mean, other than that first 24 minutes, the Raiders
they won the rest of the match.
That's right. They won the next 60 minutes.
I know.
But I think they were just shell-shocked from that first 24 minutes. And, I mean, honestly, no one would have stopped Melbourne in that first 24 minutes. No. Everything was going their way.
Speed. I've said it all season, you know. Olam, Vunivalu, Fox, Pappenhausen, they've just got so much speed. And they just know how to use it.
Can we talk about that Adokar try that was disallowed?
It's a try every day.
I'd like to know how it wasn't allowed.
Well, when you're that far up, you don't deserve it. That's all I've got.
Is that it? They just felt sorry for the Raiders.
I didn't want it to be a try simply because I wanted the Raiders to get back in the game. But, you know, I mean, it was a try every day.
Yeah.
I agree.
It didn't affect the game. It didn't affect the score and the outcome anyway.
No. Well, thankfully it didn't.
Yeah, but Jared Maxwell's had a few shockers lately.
But that went to the bunker.
Yeah.
Jared Maxwell.
Oh, he was in the bunker.
Yeah.
See, that's what I don't understand, because in all honesty, there was a very similar try in the Souths game.
Yes,
that was awarded.
That was awarded, and you would look at that and you think, oh, looked like there was.
I still thought it was a try.
Yeah, one angle was definitely dubious, but the other angle, I think, front on, you look like he maintained some. But
if you're going to if you're going to say in one match that's not a try, how do you go the very next day in the same kind of pressure situation? Well, it is.
It's simple. Different guy in the bunker.
Well, you know what I'd like to do?
Put me in the bunker.
No, I wouldn't.
Yeah, I'd like to put you in the bunker and lock the door.
I'd actually like to tell the bunker that you can't slow down the replays to a certain point, because now they're looking for that very, very slight separation, which I think is ridiculous. I think there has to be a point at which you say, no, we're not going to slow it down anymore. If it looks like a try, it's a try. Because it's going too far.
Guy's try didn't look like a try.
No, I agree with you.
He bounced it.
It didn't. It looked like it.
Yeah.
But in saying that, I like the idea of the bunker checking stuff, but I don't understand. But the problem is that the ref comes up with all these, check everything.
Yeah.
It should be, did the touch judge miss his foot going out? Was the ball grounded?
Yeah.
When the ref is standing right in front of the play or alongside the play, let him make the call.
Yeah.
Now I don't, because the bunker gets it wrong. Like I said, I've got no. I feel for the refs, because the ref now that game, the referee is under attack for the decision that was made. It wasn't him; it was the bunker.
Yeah.
It was a bloke sitting with all the technology in the world.
Yeah,
Makes no sense.
Mind you, had a few looks at it, and then came up with. Well, I think what everybody considered was a ridiculous decision.
Yep. It was good for the Raiders.
Klein only awarded 6 ruck infringements, and Raiders won the penalty count 6-1, which is interesting.
Oh look, it was like I thought it was a great game. At 24-0, honestly, I thought it was over, and then the Raiders started to actually play football. They got some possession and started to play, and at that point, it was a really good game.
I tell you what, Whiten didn't.
They
contained Whiten really well.
They contained him,
and that was key. I mean, without Whiten, George Williams was okay. It's nice kicking touches. Again, Papali I thought was well contained, and Tarpany were well contained. So they'd obviously done the homework.
Yeah.
I think that was the difference, and of course Melbourne did everything at speed. But in both the games, the playmakers, the key man was contained.
So Vunivalu's try. I mean, it was almost contemptuous the way he ran down the sideline and just went, "No, you're not getting me," and just got past Croker. It was
how he didn't step on the sideline. I mean, that was just amazing.
Yep.
What did you think of Cameron Smith being chaired off at the end?
Oh, who cares?
Well, Sally does.
Well,
Thank you very much.
No. I mean, everybody's making a big deal out of it. What do I think? He's quite possibly retiring, and it's his last game in Queensland. Who cares?
No. But I guess my point is, why cheer him off at that point? They still have a grand final to do.
It was Bellamy explained it by saying, "I told them to cheer him off because it could very likely be his last game at Suncorp, and if it was, we wanted to show our appreciation for him."
Yeah, like I've got no issue with it, none.
I don't know,
but it still irritates me the fact that he's got a skin, a hide as thick as an elephant, and they keep saying to him, what about the other players? Oh, I haven't made up my mind yet,
And that's fine.
Sorry.
Look, I mean, honestly,
I don't like it.
I don't know why everyone's hassling him. If he decides to retire, he retires, and we can celebrate it.
Yep.
And if he doesn't, then let him play on.
Yep.
He's playing so well. He shouldn't retire.
Well, that's right. And he should say, "I'm not retiring."
No. But it's almost like the media is saying, "We need you to retire. We need you to retire."
Seriously, what could be better? 400 plus games, and you win a grand final, and then you go, you know what? I think that's it. Like, what a way to be remembered.
That's right.
It's like when Beaver retired and he scored a try in the grand final. Like, what could be better than that?
Yeah,
go with everything intact. I think the thing that might hold him back is if Melbourne don't win. If Melbourne don't win, maybe he wants to say, you know what, I want to go out with that icing on the cake.
Yeah, but then they could not play as well next year.
But
and
let me say this: Beaver played that grand final from the bench, if I remember rightly.
He came on 10 seconds later. He received the ball.
That's got the try.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But Cameron Smith is playing that well. He's not playing off the bench.
Nope.
He's still one of the form players. I mean, I don't know why he would retire.
That try on Kotrick was a Kotrick, wasn't it?
No, it's
Ruther. Was it Ruther?
Yeah. No, the one that he stopped.
The try saver. As they said on the commentary, they said that's one of the best try savers he's ever put on tackles.
Considering he was marker 60 metres up the field.
Yep. Yeah. Look, I said, if I was him, why would you retire? He's not injured. His football skills are exceptional. He's at the top of his game. I'd just be saying, you can say he's already made his decision. I reckon.
Sure.
Let it go. Who cares?
Yeah.
Like, sorry, and I say who cares, not as in it doesn't.
Yeah.
You know, not as in negatively, but let the guy make his call.
Yeah. Okay, so let me answer this question based on that. You're sitting back. You're Craig Bellamy. You have a decision. You're waiting for Cameron Smith's decision.
Yep.
Do you want Cameron Smith for the next 2 years?
Yep.
Or do you want the young
Harry
Grant for the next 2 years?
No, you take Cameron Smith.
So, because the biggest fear is that these other players are going to walk because Cameron Smith will stay. But I'm thinking, I'd still keep Cameron Smith over these guys anyway.
Yep. And, you know, if Brandon Smith is the other one that's saying, oh, you know, if Cameron stays, he's not going to get first shot at hooker anyway. He's not going anywhere.
No, that's right.
If he wants to play hooker, he's got to leave the club.
Yeah.
Does he want
Because Harry Grant will come in.
That's right.
He's a back row now.
And I don't know, he feels in pretty well at hooker. I'll tell you, he'd be ahead of a lot of guys.
Oh yeah, but I mean, at Melbourne, he'd be playing as a back row.
Yeah. So look, I don't think it's a big deal, you know. And for all the talk of they'll lose Harry Grant, you know, the game survives players leaving.
Of course it does.
You know, look when Jared Hayne left, you know, many moon ago, everybody was like, oh, we've just lost the best player in the game. Who's going to step up now?
Yeah.
Now it's Jared who? You know, I mean, without any disrespect to Jared Hayne, I mean, you know, there's players out there who are dying to get a shot.
Sure.
You know, if Pappenhausen hadn't left the Tigers, he'd still be sitting in reserve grade somewhere. Like, you just can't.
Think? We haven't crashed. I heard a beep. Sorry.
Yep. Oh, yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because the Tigers just dismissed him as being too small. The same as Jonathan Thurston.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, just don't worry about it. If Harry Grant goes, Harry Grant goes. Cameron Smith is the best option for the club. You know what? If my club signed him this year for the next 2 years, I wouldn't care. It wouldn't bother me.
Well, it wouldn't bother the club. I think it'd bother you.
It'd bother me. No, you know what? It would bother me.
Actually, maybe you should go to the Roosters. The Roosters seem to want to.
Can I say?
You can.
That would be perfect, wouldn't it? Like, as if the Roosters weren't hated enough. Along comes Cameron Smith. Oh, that would be beautiful. Oh, I'm telling you.
Yeah, I couldn't.
Yeah. All right. Do we want to say any more about that game? I feel for the Raiders.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
it was the week off. The Storm were fresh and they came out firing, and there was nothing the Raiders could do.
And I think the Raiders played nearly as well as they did the week before.
Yep,
yeah.
they
just weren't allowed to.
I think that was the thing. They weren't allowed to.
Yeah, it's that dynamic speed straight away just killed them.
Yeah.
So, well done Raiders. See you next year. I was hoping you'd make it.
All right, let's move on to the next game, which was South Sydney versus Penrith Panthers, and the Panthers getting up 20-16 in what was, I thought it was an excellent game.
Oh.
A lot of drop ball.
Yep.
But it was a lot of drop ball because of a lot of hard hits.
Yep.
I mean, yes, there was a couple of clumsy play the balls, but generally I thought it was an excellent game.
Have you watched that game again yet, Steve?
I got home after watching the game and watched it again, yes.
You know, can I just say that scoreline, I don't know whether it flatters Souths or it just shows that the resilience of Souths. I think from about the 5th minute of that game, Souths weren't in the game. They won the first 5 minutes and that was it, and they still only went down by 4 points.
Yeah.
You won't hear me say this often, Steve. That was the best loss I have ever seen. Because, I mean, and the Panthers had, you know, I thought, you know, forward pass called back, you know, they had 3 or 4 tries disallowed.
Yeah.
It could have been anything, but it was just that desperation in defence.
Yeah.
That was, you know, if you're a South supporter, you go, yeah, we lost that, and you know, you got your right to throw your mug against the wall. But that was the best loss I've seen in a long time. Yeah. Because they were not in it against a far better team, and they kept hanging on.
Listen, there was 5 minutes to go. Reynolds kicks a 40-20. His foot is inches over the line.
Oh, he had his foot way over the line. He had a foot across
the line, which is only inches.
Half his foot was across.
Okay,
yeah, he's only got 2 inches.
Come on, it's only inches over the line.
Yeah. What's your point?
Had he taken a couple of inches, step back, but sliding to a moment, let's say that goes, they're hammering the line at 5 minutes to go, and they could possibly win it.
Sure.
It was 20-16. They only need to score a try.
Yeah, if that not forward pass with
I agree with you.
I mean,
there's a lot of ifs and buts.
It's a game of inches, and unfortunately,
I think the Panthers threw a lot at the Rabbitohs, and the Rabbitohs withheld a lot and stopped a few tries, and I think that's a credit to their defence, because Wayne Bennett said last week, the problem with my team is they just don't know they're beaten.
Yeah,
and they showed that this week again.
Yep.
I think in the end, the Panthers' defence won them the game. You know, I think in the end, it
I
was just
think
their
so
defence
too.
that won them the game.
Look, I mean, and as a South supporter, I'm quite happy to put my hand up and say I'm disappointed for the loss, but you know what? They tried hard. There was nothing more they could have done.
Yeah.
And I look, honestly, Panthers were the better team for 75 of those minutes. Absolutely no doubt.
But the Bunnies hung in.
But they hung in. And they were desperate to hang in. But I don't think it ever actually looked like they were going to do it. They never actually looked like. I mean, the Panthers kept getting away. South kept coming back at them. You know,
they had a buffer.
You know, again, that was a game of. It was far more defensive than I thought it was going to be. Ivan Cleary, I keep calling him Ivan. Nathan Cleary was contained. He did next to nothing.
Yeah.
Walker
a couple of nice kicks.
Walker didn't have, an inch to move.
Yeah.
That Penrith's defence was exceptional sliding out, except for that first try.
Yeah.
It was just one of those.
That was a moment of brilliance, honestly.
That was second tackle kick.
Brilliant kick.
Oh yeah, and there were a few. I tell you, Cleary and Reynolds. Oh, they're just. The kicking game of those two halves was exceptional. That's what you want to see if you're a fan.
Isaiah Yeo underrated and had a brilliant game.
Yeah.
Two breaks. I think the first one eventually led to a try. The second one he laid on a try.
Yeah, but that was But then I don't understand all of this. And Souths when they put they should have brought in Masters.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I don't understand.
It was a defensive ploy. I'm sure, and I don't know whether it worked because you got to score points to win too.
Yeah.
And Tyrone May starting in the centres, I thought that was a huge gamble.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah,
paid off.
Like I said, I'm a huge Tyrone May fan. I think he's underrated. Fullback 5'8", centre, lock, you name it, he plays it. He's exceptional.
That team.
Who did you think was the best player on the field?
Appy.
Really?
I thought Appy was. Yeah.
He
got man of the match on Fox.
Yeah.
Oh, did he? Okay.
Yeah.
I actually think Edwards, fullback.
Yeah.
Very good, but I think Edwards was solid in defence, but I think Appy changed the game in the middle, through the middle.
Just his football smarts. So the 6 agains that he got by running off into offside defenders, that killed Souths. You can't give away 6 again on the 4th and 5th tackle.
No, exactly.
And he just played it to perfection.
Yeah.
I really like. I thought Appy because of those key moments.
Penrith had to make 40 more tackles.
Yep.
Than the Rabbitohs. So the Rabbitohs were throwing lots out there.
Absolutely.
So you should be proud of your team, Steve.
No, I am. I'm very.
Are you happy? You got the 3-peat, Steve?
Well, let me tell you, a 3-peat hasn't been done in some time, so yes, I am.
Yes,
I'm very
three semis and out. That's very good. Nicely done, Steve.
I fell for David.
But you know what? At least we made it.
Yeah.
At least we made it, Brian. At least we made the 8.
No.
Lasted 3 weeks in the semis.
Yeah.
Oh, but it doesn't matter.
Same as I said to Janelle. By the way, Janelle, one day we're going to have a drink because I'm sure we'll end up yelling at each other. It's the same as I said to Janelle. Toothache and you just lasted a few weeks longer and now it's pulled. Don't worry about it. It's gone. Gone.
Is this what you two were talking about this morning?
No, I wasn't talking about that.
No, it's Tom wanted me to be
I'm
nice.
nearly as cruel as that.
And I am being nice.
I felt for you last night.
Let me say that you guys, which one of you two actually picked South for the 8? I don't know that either of you did.
He might have, I didn't.
Yeah,
you didn't.
Can I ask a question about the game?
Yes, you can.
Captain's challenges.
Yes.
All right, now...
Never use a
winger.
I picked you for the 8.
There you go. It was just me.
Was it
6th?
6th, right.
Okay.
Well done, you got it right.
I picked you 9th. What's the go with... I understand captain challenges are very strategic.
No,
Well, sometimes
they're supposed to be.
Well, sometimes they are. You know that they buy your team that crucial decision. Seriously, Mansour dropped the ball cold.
Yeah.
And called for a captain's challenge, and well, that's when there's a prop as your captain. Well, and then who took yours? Oh, Junior Tatala.
The golden rule. Wingers and props should never take captain challenge or kick the ball.
But honestly, but if you're part of that team, wouldn't you be saying to yourself, "This is a risk. I know I dropped it. Look, I'll whinge and complain about the others, but no, don't challenge it."
Especially so early, because I think they challenge fairly early.
I'm guaranteed they know that they've dropped the ball.
I don't know about early. There are a couple of decisions later on that I thought were line ball. And
where you would have used them.
And you could see that at one point, I think Gaggo was absolutely blowing up. I can't remember what it was about.
Yeah.
And I'm going, you used it?
Yeah.
I know. It is just...
So there's been talk on the radio about whether you should have one every half, and you don't bank them. So
I knew this was coming. I said earlier in the year, I'll guarantee at the end of the year they're pushing for more. And I don't want too many.
No, you just let it go. I mean... You know, the ref made the right call. There's very few decisions that the ref actually makes out on the field that I think are particularly, clangers and wrong. So let's just leave it for those.
And in most cases, it's on both sides.
It's usually a lost ball through a strip. That's usually where it's at. Most of the time.
And realistically, the video ref's going to go for the ref anyway. All right. So
before we go on, you want to do the ladder? Oh, sorry. You guys are so far down.
We finished higher than you, Stephen. Because if we're talking about the ladder, it's where you finished at the end of the regular season.
I'm sorry, it's where you finished at the end
of the
regular season.
If you want to talk about the ladder...
First, last, and everyone in between.
When you're in the semis, who cares about the ladder?
First, last, and
everyone in between. Isn't that right, Sal? Who cares about the ladder?
Oh, my goodness.
Okay, before we go on to talk about the grand final next week, I just want to talk about a couple of things. Ethan Lowe has announced his retirement.
I thought that had already happened.
About 3 years too late.
You are so cruel. And we said that in stereo just to hurt you.
I'm shattered. Yeah, keep going.
So I'm surprised.
So talk about hides like an elephant.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, Ethan Lowe.
Ethan Lowe.
Look, good servant to North Queensland. I don't think he did a lot at the Rabbitohs.
He held his spot. He wasn't spectacular, but he held his spot.
Yeah.
Do we want to talk about Flanagan?
Yeah, we should, because I was going to bring it up.
My goodness.
Look, I mean, when I first heard about this, I and hundreds of Roosters fans on Facebook sites have been blowing up about the fact that he's had a really solid season. He showed his inexperience at the end of the season, but it wasn't his fault that we didn't get any further in the game. It now appears that the Roosters are under, wait for it, salary cap pressure, and so they've got rid of Pawasa Famasili to the Dragons, and they're going to need to offload one of their halves because they want to keep Lachie Lamb and Sam Walker.
Yeah.
So I think apparently that is the reason why it's happening, but it can't be any good for Kyle Flanagan to be seen to be blamed for our poor season. And I'd like to think that the Roosters have made it clear to him that that's not the reason.
Yeah. Salary cap pressure. Signed the bloke on a rookie contract. No doubt he's worth $2.5 million now. Don't worry, you guys are set.
That's right.
Yeah. It's like that's what you did with Cronk. That's what you did with Cronk. Oh, he wants to come to Sydney. We're going to sign him for nothing. Oh, now we've got $2 million free in the salary cap. Roosters are a joke. Roosters are a joke.
You're a joke.
I'm telling you, Roosters are a
joke.
joke.
We're talking about Flanagan, not about
the challenge I have with this is, and I've heard the same thing, that it's now salary cap.
Yep.
But no one's actually really coming out and saying that. He's been told. He's this kid who for weeks has been told, you're not going to be signed, you're not going to be extended contract. You'll be here for next year, but we're not. So go and find somewhere else to live.
Yeah.
I think he's been treated badly, and I feel like that's an excuse for treating him.
Well, I think the reason why we haven't heard anything from the Roosters is they had their what do you call it night, their awards night. He was there, by the way. and you'll hear nothing but silence from the team now, because that's what happens when they finish their season. They're not going to come out and talk about it now.
Well, no. Can I just say they might be onto something with this salary cap thing, because Tedesco, apparently there was jokes about him signing. Apparently he hasn't signed either.
No, that's right.
Because
Tedesco.
Yeah, he's after a bit more cash than the Roosters are prepared to throw, and it's not a lot. It just may be that bit of cash from Flanagan.
They went off him 1.1 over 3 years, and that's a lot of money. And they've got to try and work that out.
I actually thought he was after a 3-year contract, and you guys only wanted to give him a 2.
No. Well, originally it was supposed to be a 5-year contract.
Yeah, that's what
whatever it is. Yeah.
But anyway, either way, the Roosters. Whatever you say, the Roosters have to balance their books like everybody else, and this is the things they're having to do it. So. Yeah. Anyway. And they don't need three young up and coming halves. I think it's sad for Kyle Flanagan, who I thought had a tremendous year. He may not have come on as quickly as everybody would have liked, but he was in a team with high pressure.
He's 21, right. And I tell you what, he won you a few games.
Absolutely, he did.
I don't know who's going to kick for the Roosters.
That worries me too.
Let's talk about the Knights. Watson's been re-signed.
Yep.
Looks like Mitchell Pearce is on the outer.
Well, no, I think the story is not that he's on the outer, but they're going to pay him unders from what he's on now. That's the thing. They want to keep him, but they want to pay him. I think he's on $850 or something now. They want to pay him 7 and then 6 after a couple of years. They're saying, we need to get our cap under control too. That's what I've heard. I've read a lot about this, and because there was that ridiculous stuff about him coming back to the Roosters, and I thought that's the last thing we want, honestly.
Well, then they're also talking about the swap between Parramatta with Mitchell Moses. That was also brought up.
That doesn't solve anything.
No. I'm not sure who would solve it. No.
You've got two halves that are struggling. Changing the deck chairs isn't going to change things.
Yeah. All I can say is that, and I don't mean to be I joke about the cap because I understand. Like I said, and I think that I don't know how you guys are under the cap. I'll wear that for now in this conversation. But the mere fact that you're punting this bloke, and if you were to say who are the best coaches in the comp, your coach would come up. But if you're an outsider, and I mean this in all seriousness, if you're an outsider looking in, you're going, the bloke can only win if the side's stacked. Because that's what it looks like. The Roosters have the best team on paper, and they go through it. You go through and you go, halfbacks are no name. Flick. That's exactly what it looks like to the casual observer.
You know what? You're probably right, because they're ruthless, and and Nick Politis has a win at all costs mentality. I don't particularly like it. I love my team. I don't always like the mentality, but
I don't know.
And that's why Trent Robinson will never win the coach of the year again, because everybody perceived that he's stacked. I mean, he should have won in the last 2 years, I think, and this year, equally with a few other coaches, he's had to cope with an enormous amount of injuries.
Yeah.
They didn't get as far as they were going.
Okay. Let's move from that.
Yes.
Last one, Bevan French back to Parramatta.
Does
that make sense? He's coming back as a fullback apparently.
He's been playing really well in the Super League.
So's Gutherson.
Yeah, for sure. But that's why they want him back, is because they can. He started to mature as a player. Because I watched a few games. He's playing for Wigan, I think.
Seriously, would you put him in place of Gutherson?
Oh no!
You can put Gutherson anywhere.
No, but you try to fit them both in. Is what you do.
This is.
I think Wonga Blake, unfortunately, is a bit of a liability there.
Yeah.
But this is the problem with NRL at the moment. You've got first grade, and the step down from first grade to the New South Wales Cup is astronomical.
Sure.
There used to be a time when you'd go reserve grade, and they were the old blokes on their way out, or the young blokes about to come up, and you wouldn't have a 21-year-old halfback sitting in first grade, because he'd be getting his head kicked in reserve grade.
And he'd be getting mentored by the older players.
And the problem is that we've gone so far the other way that if you haven't made it by the time you're 21, you're out the door.
So why don't we have a reserve grade anymore? What's the reason?
I don't know. I used to love going and watching 3 games.
David Gallop.
You'd see the under 23s.
Is it a financial decision? Is it too costly to run it?
It can't.
Probably.
But it can't be. It's pointless to have that huge gap.
But you'll never have a national competition, which is what the NRL have pushed for the last few years, in reserve grade because it's too much to transport 100 players. Used to have under 23s, and then we had reserve grade, and then there was first grade.
You know, and if you were really lucky, you got to see the Harold Matts jersey flag.
You got to see 3 or 4 games.
Or 5, it was awesome.
I mean, hey, we're going to talk about the grand final right now. We used to go and see, 3 or 4 games in the grand final.
Yeah.
Yeah, nobody's mentioned anything about the women's game either.
Tom?
We've left it out.
Tom, you like the women's game.
Yeah, you like the women's game.
Got a vested interest because the Roosters are still in it. I mean, they won 1 game in 2 seasons. 1 game in 2 seasons, and they were hopeless last year. This year they've won their first 2 games, and they played the Broncos, who they're also going to face in the grand final. Lost by 8 points. I didn't get to see the game because I was in transit, which is a shame. But basically, the reason why the Broncos, I think, are so successful is you're playing the State of Origin team.
Yes.
You are playing the Queensland State of Origin team every time you play.
Yeah. And
the New South Wales teams are split amongst those other ones.
See,
but I think the Roosters, I think the Roosters are a chance in the grand final, the women. They have a lot more self-belief this year. They've got some really good defence. Jamie Feeney, who I vaguely heard of before, he is an assistant coach with the Australian team, and he's put a bit of grunt into their defence. Yeah. And look, I look forward to watching it next week.
I would actually sit and watch it quite happily, but my problem with it right now is that there's only 4 teams allowed in it.
Yep, I agree.
And there's no reason why you can't have another 3 or 4 teams in this and make it a real competition.
You wouldn't have 3, you'd have 4.
Well, whatever, but but make it a real competition. Sure. And instead of a competition where you only have to win a game or 2 to be in a grand final.
Well, that's what happened in the first year. We lost 2 games, got pummeled, and we smashed the Dragons in the last game by 26 points, and we qualified for the grand final. It's ridiculous. And then got hammered because we were both there in 2018.
So to me, it's not a real competition. Yeah. But I'd like to see it turned into one. I really like it.
But I think they've got to go through these motions, and I think next year they definitely need to add some more teams.
South, Cronulla, I think Parramatta and 1 or 2 others already have teams ready to go.
Yep.
Ready to go into it.
Yeah, let's go.
NRL, you listen to us every week. Do this now.
And if you do watch the women's game, the quality of the football by the women is improved exponentially. That really.
Some of those hits.
They are. You know, they're classy. Some of it.
They would hurt him.
Some of those women are big. And
they would
really hit hard.
I know you. Numb from pain, being the beast that you are, but
my tooth was pulled long ago.
All right, let's talk about the grand final, gentlemen. Yep. Melbourne versus Penrith coming up this weekend. It is going to be a cracker of a game.
It will be a great game.
It'll be a very, very fast game. It'll be a game of experience versus youth.
Yep.
Do you like that?
Yeah, very good.
That's very good.
Yeah, you should post that.
Now you take over because I've said all I can say.
Go on, Brian. Yep. Look, the 2 teams that had the week off, the 2 fastest teams in the comp, are now through to the grand final.
I think no matter what anyone says, having that week off is beneficial.
Oh, absolutely.
Who said it wasn't?
Absolutely.
The 2 coaches who didn't get the week off.
Yep, I think you're right.
Yeah, I think that it's going to be an absolute rip snorter. Mm-hmm. You know, 17 wins in a row versus 4 out of 5 grand finals.
Yeah,
and like you said, just that youthful enthusiasm with no experience whatsoever against the hardened professional team who've been there and done that. 4 grand finals out of 5.
I don't think it has. I'd like to check that because I'm not sure it's the right number.
It is.
16, 17, 18 and 20.
Didn't 16 North Queensland beat Brisbane?
No, 16 was the Sharks.
Sharks?
All the Sharks supporters, they're going to be mortified you forgot that.
Yeah, they beat Melbourne.
16
Remember we watched that game at your place and I was going,
17 Melbourne won, 18 Roosters smashed them, 19 we won, and 20 they're in the grand final. So
maybe it's 15 I'm thinking of. Yeah. Who won 15?
That was the blockbuster North Queensland.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Hey, come on.
Yeah, you'll forget before that. So.
Yep. It's going to be.
You know what? The one thing I thought, if South were going to win, it was going to be on the back of nerves from inexperienced young players against when playing Penrith. Penrith didn't show any of that.
No.
They
were a little ill-disciplined at times.
Yeah. But I think that was the intensity of the match, not the nerves.
Yep.
They did not show the nerves that you expected.
You can bet the Storm will be sitting around this week going, there's a bunch of young kids, let's intimidate them.
Yeah.
Let's get in their face.
And kick ours back after a week's break.
Yeah, that'll be good.
Yeah, can I just say, how are they going to intimidate? Intimidate through the forwards. And the Panthers have James Tarmo, Fisher Harris, Kickow, Yo.
Yeah.
And the young bloke Martin. I'm thinking,
yeah.
That's not a pack that goes, oh, we're scared.
No. But there were a couple of moments in that game last night where they just had to refocus, and you could see just a little bit of concern on their faces for a little while when you scored.
But you know what? It didn't scare them and didn't put them off. They said, let's make this harder. Let's steal up.
But if Melbourne get to 18-0,
they won't.
Could be different.
Well, see, the thing is that I noticed against Souths is that Dylan Edwards and Brian Toho both took the first, second, third hit up at times, and usually when teams do that, they get their big men, they get their speed men, and they run at the opposition 5'8" halfback.
Yeah,
these guys just ran straight into a Burgess. Straight into a front rower. Yeah. They were making Souths work for every tackle. It was a bizarre tactic that worked a treat. Yeah. Because Souths couldn't keep up because they were continually running at the forwards.
Yeah.
So is Ivan Cleary that good a coach, or has he just got a really good team?
I think he's just got a really good. I think he's a good coach. Let's be fair. I think he's a good coach. I just think he's got a really good team as well.
Yeah, I would say, look, he took the Warriors to a grand final.
Yes.
You got to say that's something.
So you're going to apply the same thing to Trent Robinson that you do to Ivan Cleary then? Because that's what you said.
No.
You've got a team stacked with good players.
No.
I
don't agree.
He hasn't got a team. Penrith don't have a team stacked with state of origin players and Australian players. They got kids. They got a bunch of kids. So you can't compare them.
I mean, it's a great talented bunch. Don't get me wrong.
But when you're talking about Cleary, and here's the problem I have with both Bellamy and with Robinson, that they have been extremely successful where they are. To me, a really, really good coach is someone who can do it at a number of different clubs. Bennett and no. But this is what I think makes Cleary a good coach. Yes, he took the Warriors to the grand final and they lost. Now he's taking Penrith to the grand final, and whether win or lose, I think that's the mark of a good coach. Not I have a great team, I'm going to stay here for 20 years, and this is what we're going to do. There's no denying Bellamy and Robinson are great coaches. But I want to see them, to be able to say that they're really great, I want to see them go somewhere else. I want to say to George.
The problem is neither of them are probably going to do that because they've loved their club.
No.
Interesting comment was made. I watched it, and this was about NFL, but it's that you can apply this. I was watching something about a player who won a Super Bowl in 2009 or something like that, 2008, and he was young, enthusiastic, and very brash, and got to the Super Bowl, and he's standing there at the end of the Super Bowl, and he said, "So that's it." And his coach had said to him right through the season, he said, "The journey is what matters. Sometimes when you get to the top, it isn't as good as you think it's going to be." And interesting, Craig Bellamy said the other night, he said, "Whether we win or whether we lose, we've had a great season, and sometimes you've got to enjoy the journey."
Yeah.
And I think as fans, we've got to say, you got to the prelim final.
Oh, I've enjoyed the journey.
Had a good service. Yeah. We had a great season given all of our injuries and things. You didn't
I don't know what you're talking about.
You didn't have a good season because you had lots of injuries and lots of bad results.
You can say that, but you know.
But
winning is winning.
But you didn't have a journey to enjoy, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, but still, if I'd gone out as Souths just had, in those two games, the Raiders were blown off the park and came back.
Yep.
If I was a Raiders fan, I would be disappointed.
Sure, but in a month's time, you're going to say, "Do we have a good season?" You're probably going to say yes. No, it just didn't end well.
I don't know.
Come on, I want to hear you. I want you to finish.
No.
Because he needs this.
I need this. Come on.
No. If you're Souths, I'm actually thinking you're dirty because you played worse and you were You were that close. You had your hands on the W.
Trust me, I did yesterday. Yes. All right. Okay, gentlemen, we're going to draw this to a close. Grand final tips.
Panthers.
Panthers.
I'm saying that youthful enthusiasm will continue, and I think that they just overcome.
Would you have a bold prediction?
But my bold
Churchill? No.
No.
Bold prediction
something
about-
that's going to happen throughout the game that you think is is out of the ordinary.
Jerome Luai will use his 5 steps on a centimetre piece of grass to get around the entire Melbourne team.
Nathan Cleary will be the Clive Churchill medal winner.
Wow.
In a winning team.
Okay, I've got Addo Carr scoring 3 tries.
Ooh.
Because you're getting Melbourne, obviously.
No, I actually...
Well, he's got to score a hat-trick in a losing team.
No, why?
Oh my goodness! Now
That's
that would be a
scoring
bold
game.
prediction.
That's a big
You're only going to win
scoring
by
game.
1918.
That is a bold prediction.
No, I think Melbourne will win. I want Penrith to win.
Yep.
I truly
Sally,
do.
hear that?
I'm sorry, Sally. I just think it would be really good for the game for Penrith to win.
Yeah, but we kind of live in the Penrith area, and those fans are nuts.
Oh, gee whiz.
They're just ugly. They're ugly
Brad,
Hey,
don't
Bradley.
listen. Brad, don't listen.
Yeah, we
don't count you as one of them.
Mitch, you're an ugly fan. Don't worry, I know. Look, it's that you saw him in the stadium. You tease South supporters about being buck-toothed and 900 years old. Penrith supporters, they can't even wear all their clothes. It's like, oh my goodness, it's terrible.
Do you ever actually have a look at Manly supporters and Roosters supporters? Let me tell you, they're just as ugly. And you know it.
No.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do.
They're not as ugly.
Yes, they do. Yours are just bitter.
Oh, do not be about what?
Everything.
Oh, the ball gets kicked off and they go, get him onside!
I know.
As soon as the ball's kicked off, they go, offside, get him offside!
Well, you should be onside.
Goodness me.
All right. Anything intelligent way in the show?
Nah, go the Penny Panthers.
Tom?
Yeah, Panthers for me.
All right. You're with Tom, Brian and Steve, and this is NRL from the Sidelines.
Oh, we were supposed to do our Origin teams today.
Oh, I didn't do that.
They don't do their Origin team.
Next week we'll be talking Origin.
It'll be too late. They're already picked next
Too
week.
late. Got my team, and I stand by it.
I got my team. I did my homework. But
Sorry, can I finish this up now?
Not really.
Okay. All right.
Go.
I'm waiting.
Sure?
Yeah.
Everybody else is tuned out by now.
See you later. Bye.
See ya. Bye.